Fort Lauderdale's Interim Police Chief Karen Dietrich. You may follow at Fort Lauderdale PD on Twitter, on Instagram, and also on Facebook. Chief Dietrich, you remember the Nintendo Power Pad?
A little bit.
Okay. We were talking about it in the previous segment. Natalie's talking about this, the new PS5 and everything. Some of the features reminded me of the Nintendo Power Pad. And I had that on the brain. I was looking it up, and there are all kinds of like new cool ones that are available on eBay right now. I was thinking that we could all get in shape. It's great, actually, if you think about it. It's a great virus tool as well, because if you're socially distancing from others, just sit there and get your exercise and your power pad. Anyway, I digress, Chief Dietrich. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the city, and obviously a lot of flooding in Broward, including within the city of Fort Lauderdale as well, related to the storm. What's the lay of the land right now?
Very flooded. We have flooding here like we've never seen. I mean, I've been here 30 years and I've never seen flooding
that
like
bad,
this.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, with the amount of rain that came down and how quickly it came down, we have areas that are just completely underwater. We had to use some of our military vehicles basically to go in and make a couple rescues. And there was a time during the event that Broward Boulevard looked like the Intercoastal Waterway. We've never seen anything like that. You know, it's funny because a lot of people don't like our military-looking vehicles, but these were the only vehicles that could access people in flooded waters, and these are the vehicles that we use during the hurricanes to conduct rescues. You know, they're heavy enough that they can sustain, you know, they can take the high winds, and we don't have to put them away as quick as we have to put away like a normal sedan or a Tahoe.
Well, and I'll pick up that note and leave you out of this comment. But for any who think along those lines, if we can't trust our police, we've got bigger problems in our society than the specificity of the equipment they're using. And to the chief's point, at the point where, you know, rubber meets the road, it's a really good thing we have the equipment like that. And you talk about, having to do some of these rescues and the like. Are there any preventative measures that people might have been able to take on or implement, things that we might be able to do, or is just no way around it?
Well, you know, the city offered sandbags and everything to try to put up at the doors and the garage doors and stuff to try to prevent some of the water coming in. But I don't think anybody really expected the amount of rain that we were actually going to get. We had cleaned out storm gutters and had pumping trucks on site, but even with the pumping trucks that we have about 25 of them working in the city 24/7. It's still going to take through the weekend to even pump out what we have, and then every time you look out the window, we're getting another band of rain.
No kidding.
It's like shoveling sand against the tide.
Holy cow! So it's still a process. So what's the word for anybody who is dealing with localized flooding? What should they do at this point?
Try to stay out of the water. You know, we're still getting some bands every once in a while, and we're getting the winds. And the problem is the power lines. If you get a power line that comes down, you can't see it. You don't know what you're stepping on, and you step in that water, and it's going to be a fatal error. So it's more just trying to stay out of the water, stay on dry land as much as possible.
And also, to her point, just you get out and about. I mean, we always, I think intellectually you know it until you're actually in a situation to where you're on the road, you can't see the road, but you're like, if I can just get over there, and then you go for it and something bad happens. We've seen way too much of that as well. And I know that there have been some rescues that have had to be carried out from people got themselves in literally over their car's head anyway. All right. So aside from the storm and everything else, we did have this one incident that ended up hidden on Friday. So we know that there have been a lot of demonstrations post-election. And last Friday, you had some Trump supporters that actually were shot by BB gun fire from a passing vehicle. Any word about that situation? Any update there?
Well, we finally found the second victim, but unfortunately, neither victim can ID anyone. The only thing that we have is like a black Porsche vehicle described to us. We had a secondary incident that was kind of similar, but by the time we got to that incident, the caller had already left. So we weren't able to gather any more intelligence on that. But, you know, when people get away with this type of stuff, it emboldens them, and they continue. And it's really only a matter of time before they get caught. I don't know why you would do that to anybody. You know, shooting somebody with a BB gun, people think, oh, it's just a BB gun. You hit somebody in the eye, you're going to take somebody's sight away. It's not a joke. So,
yeah, sure enough. All right. Well, appreciate that update. And then, it's kind of crazy. You take a look at the calendar and it's like, how did we get here? We're literally 2 weeks away today from Thanksgiving. What are you taking a look at within the department of the planning for this Thanksgiving, which is obviously going to be atypical, I think, especially with probably fewer people that are coming to Fort Lauderdale this year?
Yeah, Thanksgiving evening is typically one of the biggest bar nights of the year in Fort Lauderdale. For some reason, it draws crowds similar to like a New Year's Eve. There are no planned events for the entertainment district, so there's no reason to really come down. With COVID, we really don't know what to expect yet. There's still some restrictions placed on bars, so they have to stop selling and consuming alcohol past midnight. In the past several weeks, we've had only a few bars stay open till 4 a.m. I don't know why anybody would just stand in a bar till 4 a.m. if they can't drink, but that happens sometimes. And, we've requested extra officers for staffing out there. We have code enforcement to come out there and help with the compliance with the social distancing guidelines, the masks and stuff like that. So we're prepared for, a busy night, but we really don't know what to expect.
Well, thank you so much, as always, for taking the time with us. And thank you for what you do, and everybody who serves with you certainly is appreciated.
Thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate it.
You got it. That is Fort Lauderdale's Interim Police Chief Karen Dietrich. You may follow at Fort Lauderdale PD on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.